Mr. President, at the outset, I would like to thank you for convening this important session on the Palestinian issue level. I also thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. the Minister, for your presence and for presiding over this session. This reflects the interest you pay to the Palestinian issue and the fact that it is among your priorities on the Security Council agenda. I would also like to express our appreciation to the delegation of Algeria for the great efforts you are making to support the Palestinian people and their just cause, and for all you have made to encourage the Security Council to adopt a firm position regarding a ceasefire in Gaza. On behalf of the State of Palestine, the people and leaderships of Palestine, I would also like to thank the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, for his noble positions, principled positions. And I also thank all the UN staff members, especially those working on the ground and providing assistance and relief to our people in its plight and in the catastrophic humanitarian situation we are witnessing. I would also like to thank Their Excellencies, the ministers participating in this session. Your Excellency, Mr. Ahmed Attaf, Minister of Foreign Affairs in Algeria, President of the Security Council, Your Excellencies, members of the Security Council, ladies and gentlemen. We are addressing you today in the Security Council with our hearts heavy with pain and anger, owing to what Palestinian people have been subjected to in the Gaza Strip, including the killing, displacement, blockade, starvation, most of whom are children, women, and elderly, in addition to the deliberate destruction of everything. As for the West Bank and East Jerusalem, our land is being looted and our properties and holy sites are being desecrated, and our rights are being violated through the crimes perpetrated by the occupation forces and the settlers without any accountability. The practices, measures and laws implemented by the occupation government are illegitimate in the occupied territories. They aim at undermining the two-state solution and weakening the official institutions of the State of Palestine. They prevent the Palestinian people from exercising their right to self-determination and to build an independent Palestinian state, a sovereign Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. It ignores the resolutions of the international legitimacy adopted by the Security Council, the General Assembly, the Human Rights Council, and international tribunals, the last of which was the advisory opinion of the ICJ calling for an end to the illegal Israeli occupation, including an end to settlements. The glimmer of hope that we are seeing today and for which we have been working with our brothers and friends 15 months allowed us to reach a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip thanks to the commendable mediation efforts of Qatar, Egypt, and the United States. We hope that this ceasefire will hold and succeed, leading to a full and final ceasefire without any return to aggression, and that it will lead to a full withdrawal of the occupation forces from the Gaza Strip, laying the foundations for a political track based on the resolutions of international legitimacy that would end the occupation and implement the advisory opinion of the ICJ pursuant to the GA resolution calling for an end to occupation within 1 year. Since day one of this aggression, the State of Palestine has been relentlessly calling for an end to an immediate ceasefire to prevent the deterioration of the humanitarian situation, to prevent displacement, annexation of land. We have repeatedly warned against the invasion by the occupation forces of the Gaza Strip. We called for protecting the civilians, protecting them from the scourge of war and destruction, regardless of whom are the parties to the conflict. We commend here the positions of Egypt, Jordan, and other countries that stood against any attempts to displace the Palestinians outside their country, whether from the Gaza Strip or from the West Bank. We also emphasized the need to end the practices undermining the two-state solution, including the expansions of settlements and the crimes perpetrated by the settlers in broad daylight. We have called for preserving the historical and legal status quo of the holy sites, the Christian and Islamic holy sites in the occupied city of Jerusalem. We would like to express our heartfelt thanks to all the countries and peoples that have supported our efforts to achieve a ceasefire, including among the members of the Security Council and the General Assembly, and all those who worked to end the war of genocide against our people and to hold Israel accountable for its crimes, including the states that supported us before international tribunals, including the Republic of South Africa, which referred the case to the ICJ in order to end the crimes of genocide against our people. Mr. President, since the first moment of this aggression, the state of Palestine have been making intensive diplomatic efforts led by His Excellency President Abbas, who have made hundreds of calls and meetings with regional and international parties to end this bloody aggression. He went several times to the Security Council with the assistance of several members of the Council, on top of which Algeria, the Arab representative in the Security Council, and to the resumed emergency special session of the GA. We call for an implementation of relevant UN resolution, including Security Council Resolution 2735, which calls for an immediate ceasefire, the release of the hostages and prisoners, the delivery of immediate humanitarian assistance to the Gaza Strip and preventing the displacement of the Palestinians and returning the displaced to their homeland, the withdrawal of the occupation forces of all of the Gaza Strip, allowing the Palestinian authorities to shoulder its full responsibilities in the Gaza Strip, and reuniting the Gaza Strip with the West Bank under the management of the Palestinian Authority. And it also calls for returning to a political process that would end the illegal occupation and lead to the independence of the state of Palestine and to achieving the two-state solution pursuant to the resolutions of the international legitimacy. In this context, we reaffirm that the Gaza Strip is part and parcel of the occupied Palestinian territory and that the state of Palestine is or has the legal and political jurisdiction over the Gaza Strip and over all the occupied Palestinian territories since 1967, including East Jerusalem. We reiterate our total rejection of any attempts to annex our land or to displace our people. This is a blatant violation of international law. It violates the principles enshrined by the international legitimacy. We reaffirm the need or the imperative to uphold our legitimate rights and our national identity, which unites our people wherever they are in the world. This requires a unity of our land and of our people under the umbrella of the PLO, which is the only legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. It also requires everyone to commit to the PLO's political program and international commitments and to work under one regime, one law, and a single armed forces. Mr. President, we reaffirm that the Palestinian government is ready to assume the responsibility of running the Gaza Strip and the West Bank in cooperation with friendly and sisterly countries and organizations. It is ready to provide basic services, including health, education, water, and electricity, to guarantee the return of the displaced to their homes and to prepare for the reconstruction phase. We are also committed to manage the crossing points in collaboration with the EU and Egypt in line with the 2005 agreement. In this context, we welcome any assistance for training and equipping the Palestinian police and security forces. We look forward to the assistance of the brotherly and friendly states in all fields to lift the people of Gaza from this humanitarian devastation. We reaffirm here the importance of the role played by UNRWA, which is indispensable and irreplaceable. The Israeli occupation powers do not have the right to prevent UNRWA from implementing its mandate to serve the Palestinian refugees in the occupied territories and in all the areas of operations where the Palestinian refugees live, especially that this agency was created and its mandate determined through UN resolutions, and the Israeli occupation powers do not have the right to prevent it from working. Mr. President, we would like to express our deep appreciation to the countries that have supported our people in these difficult times. We call upon the international community to provide further urgent humanitarian support and to cooperate with the Palestinian government to enhance its abilities to play its role and shoulder its responsibilities. However, we emphasize the need to reach a lasting and comprehensive political solution for the Palestinian issue and for peace in the Middle East. Therefore, we commend the efforts of all the Global Alliance for Peace, which was created in past September in New York with the leadership of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the EU, and the Kingdom of Norway. We also commend the efforts of the Arab Islamic Committee, headed by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which have been mobilizing efforts throughout the world to end the aggression, to implement the two-state solution in line with the resolutions of international legitimacy, and to achieve international recognition and a full membership of the State of Palestine in the United Nations, and also to end the Israeli occupation and to build an independent Palestinian state along the lines of the 4th of June 1967, with East Jerusalem as its capital, to solve the issue of the refugees in line with UN Resolution 194. This would give a chance to peace and stability, not only between the Palestinians and the Israelis, but also for all the countries of the region, so that they can live in security, peace, and good neighborliness. We look forward to holding the international conference to implement resolutions of the international legitimacy pertaining to the Palestinian issue and the two-state solution, which will convene in June in New York. We call upon all the participating countries to take practical, decisive measures to end the occupation and to support the independence of the State of Palestine and to achieve just peace. Mr. President, our people are struggling for a just and comprehensive peace, a peace that would secure security for all. Therefore, we reiterate our call before your August Council to grant the State of Palestine full membership in the United Nations and to adopt the Arab Peace Plan that was explained in the address of President Abbas in September before the General Assembly. That statement was supported by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the countries participating in the Conference for the Alliance for Peace. And the plan would allow the State of Palestine to achieve independence over its land occupied since 1967, with East Jerusalem as its capital, and would allow everyone to live side by side in peace, security, and good neighborliness. Thank you.